Most people still think of a minister as someone who works in a church, but the current crop of seminary students are discovering the many other ways they can use their education to serve God. McCormick Theological Seminary in Chicago is encouraging students to pursue these specialized ministries. To find out how, let's welcome Dr. Christine Vogel, Dean of Students and Vice President for Student Affairs at McCormick. And we also welcome Melva Lowry, a first-year student in McCormick's Masters in Discipleship Development program. We also welcome second-year McCormick student Angela Rio, who was born in Korea and has lived in the United States since age 9. Thank you all for coming and sharing your stories with us today.
Thank you.
Dr. Vogel, could you tell us a little bit about what specialized ministries are?
In one phrase, I would say specialized ministries are any ordained or non-ordained ministries that take place outside the parish. So very much in times of what you just said about most people think of ministers as those who serve inside a church. Specialized ministries are outside the church in agencies and in social service settings, in chaplaincy areas. The kinds of thing that you're doing would be considered specialized ministry.
Melva, could you talk a little bit about what kind of ministry you're drawn to at this point?
Well, coming into seminary, my area of ministry is working with children and youth. I want to actually do a mentorship program, a nonprofit that disciples them through not just their spirituality, but what they want to do in terms of career and profession, and sort of kind of give them a whole, well-rounded life skills on just how to be themselves and find what their passion is and somebody to walk them through that.
Angela, could you tell us a little bit about what kind of ministry you're looking into, if it's specialized ministry or parish ministry?
Yeah, I think coming in last year as a first-year student in McCormick, I had no doubt that I was going to go into parish ministry. But I think second year in seminary has confused me a little, and now I'm looking at different options, looking at different things that I might be able to do with the background that I have in teaching, maybe going into curriculum development or teaching in variety of ways, and so it's changing and has changed ever since coming to seminary.
How has your Korean background influenced your path of ministry?
I think definitely it has made me more culturally aware and sensitive in the ministry, and thinking about how to be a bridge in many ways, culturally. And even interfaith ministry is something that I'm also looking at. And so faith-wise, and I think ministry for me is all about being that bridge and how to get from one place to another, from one type of people to another, and faith to another. And so being that bridge and having this background, bicultural background, has really helped me to be sensitive to those needs and to really see and look into what I can do in particular situations. So it's more of awareness, having this awareness of cultural awareness that I can definitely utilize in my ministry settings.
Dr. Vogel, could you talk a little bit about why it's so important to have seminaries encourage this specialized ministry focus?
I think the whole arena of ministry is changing. In the mainline church, particularly, the numbers of large churches are declining. So, for instance, in the Presbyterian Church USA, the majority of our churches now have 100 members or less. They're less able to support full-time pastors. And there are so many other arenas where students can be doing productive ministry. And many of them, like Angela, come into seminary with one pathway in mind, and then begin to realize that there are ways that they can serve the church that are beyond inside a congregation. So as we see churches aging and declining in size, we're saying you can think about other types of ministry that you might be able to do, and are becoming much more, I don't want to say aggressive, but encouraging and assertive of saying to students, don't only think in one way about how you can do ministry. Think of this entire arena that's open to you.
Now, Melva, your father is a pastor, and you don't seem to be leaning towards the parish ministry in the capacity of a pastor. So where did that change? What led you to doing something else?
Well, like you said, my father is a pastor and my brother is also a pastor. So part of it is there's enough pastors in the family. But also just my love of working with youth. In undergrad, I did a lot of work with nonprofits in the Washington, D.C. area. And on the sides of seeing how things are funded and sort of the criteria and curriculum that these nonprofits are having, I looked at my experience of being in a church, being sort of in the forefront, because I'm a pastor's kid, so you kind of have to do a lot of everything. But how that did help me and shape me and gave me the mentorship to really see what I wanted to do. You know, I had those people there who supported me, who, you know, would ask me the tough questions to make me think broader. And so I look at that there are not a lot of kids coming into the church for whatever reason, whether it's programming or they just don't have that sense or feel like they have a voice there. So why not take ministry to these youth, to the nonprofits, and give them not just the church, but what they're interested in. And today, you know, kids are interested in a lot of things. So how can we now take the church and minister to their needs, but also show them Christ and God and the love of the church and how they can find support within the church if they do decide to go to a local church. So.
Angela, if someone is trying to figure out whether or not they want to be in parish ministry or maybe another specialized form of ministry, how would you advise them to discern which path is best for them?
I'd say take a look at all of the gifts that you have and all the experiences that you have. And one of the things that I find very helpful at McCormick is that they're not just young people just coming into ministry or just coming into seminary. They have, you know, this is like a career change for them, and so they have a lot of experience coming in, and it's delightful to talk to them about the experiences that they have and skill sets that they have that they can transfer over into ministry. So I just really suggest look into all the things that you have and all the assets that you have as a career changer, or the gifts that you have enjoyed using in the church, and really think about is this something that I can use within the church, or is it something that I can take outside of the church and enrich the church life, the parish life, and really contribute into the situation in the setting that you're in. And so right now I am actually interning at Interfaith Worker Justice, which is it's not a parish setting. And so within that kind of setting, I think about what are some of the things that I can bring into this ministry, and what are the things that I can learn at Interfaith Worker Justice that I can actually take back to the church. And so so transferable skills, I think, is something that you should look at and really see what do you enjoy doing and how creative can you be with the things that you enjoy doing. And so I really like to challenge them to think through those things and read about those things, interview different people, and talk to Dean Vogel.
See, we could use Angela for recruiting.
So those are some of the ways that you can definitely discern and of course pray and see, yes, where the Spirit is leading. And look at the world around you. Where is the Spirit working? And see where are the applicable places and relevant places that you can be with the gifts that you have.
Well, Dr. Vogel, Melva, Angela, thank you so much for sharing what specialized ministry is and to kind of broaden our perspective of what ministry can look like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Leanne Noland for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.